it's Laura. It has been a good 2 weeks since I've sat in front of the camera and filmed, so this is weird for me. I'm sorry if I'm awkward, but today's video is going to be my end of the year TBR because it is the end of the year, and I don't plan on doing TBRs specifically for November or December, so this is just going to be everything that I'm hoping to get read before 2022 comes. And I have a lot of books here. I have a lot of books here that I really want to get to. Will I get to all of them? Probably not, but I'm gonna try my best. So I have like 3 different categories of books I want to get to. You guys know that I need to get through my backlist books. Any of them that I don't read have to be unhauled by the end of the year. So I made a list of like my top, what is it, 13? My top 13 books for my backlist that I need to get read so that I don't have to unhaul them. So we're gonna go through those first. They're in no particular order. These are the ones that I must read before the end of the year. So the first one I have here is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I've just heard so many great things about this. It's been on my like metaphysical TBR for quite some time, but I picked it up, I believe, last year in 2020. So it is included in the backlist, and I don't want to have to unhaul it because I really want to get to it. I've heard that it's just really funny, it's really fun. It's about a group of older gentlemen who get back together to do one last job, and they're all old and washed up, and it's supposed to be hilarious, and I just think that I can really enjoy this. So this is one that I must read. The next one I have is The Lies of Lamora. This is by Scott Lynch. This is compared a lot to Six of Crows. It's a heist story, but it's adult. Another start of a series. Once again, I have heard amazing things about this, and it's another one that's been on that like metaphysical TBR for quite some time. I've been thinking about it for quite some time, but I picked it up either a year or 2 ago, and I need to get to it. I need to get to it. Next, I have 2 books by Anna Marie McLemore, who I adore. I haven't read much by them. I read The Weight of Feathers and Wild Beauty, and The Weight of Feathers is one of my favorite books of all time now. I loved it so much, so I need to read everything by them, and I have these 2 books on my shelf. The first one is Dark and Deepest Red. The second one is Blanca y Roja, and I want to read both of these so much. I love Anna Marie McLemore's writing. I think it's absolutely stunning and beautiful, and I just need to read everything by them. So I have these 2. These are on the list. Must get to these before the end of the year. Okay, Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roan Horse. I don't know why I haven't picked this one up yet. I've been wanting to read it for so long, and it's so short. It's so short. I could read it super fast. I picked this book up first, but ended up reading Rebecca's latest book, which was Black Sun. Absolutely fell in love with it, so I just have a feeling I'm gonna love this series as well. Then we've got Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. Sarah Gailey is another author that I've been very interested in for a while. Have already read a book by them. I read Upright Women Wanted, which was a novella. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, and it was like really emotional for me too. So I'm excited to read more from them, and this one I've heard amazing things about. A lot of my friends have read it already and really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to give it a try for myself. And I'm not really going into synopses with these books. We don't have time. I have too many books to go through. Next, I have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai, I believe. That sounds really good. I've heard really good things. I'm excited. Also, it's a duology, so the series will be quick to get through, and I believe the second book is already out, if I'm not mistaken, or it's coming out soon, one or the other, but very excited to get to this one. Next, we have Traitor's Blade by Sebastian D. Castell. I've put this on so many TBRs this year. I think from January. This was on my January TBR, and I still haven't gotten to it. It's October. Like, why? Sebastian D. Castell, I have like a very fraught relationship with, because I really enjoyed the first book in the Spellslinger series. The second book really enjoyed, and then it just got really bad for me from that point on. But I'm excited to pick up his adult work because I think it'll work a lot better for me. Next, probably the first book I'm going to be picking up in the month of November is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I've been intrigued, interested in, curious, that's the word. I've been curious about the Wheel of Time series for quite some time, but never really decided to pick up the series and read it because there's like, what, 15 books in the series? And I'm like, I don't have time for that. But I've heard multiple people, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I've heard from more than one person compare this to Stormlight Archive. I've also seen people in general just compare Robert Jordan to Brandon Sanderson, which makes me think that I'm going to enjoy it because Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author. So that gets me excited to read it, plus the TV show coming out in November, right? November 19th, I think. That I definitely want to read this before the TV show. So this is the first book I'm picking up in the month of November, and I'm excited to finally see what this is all about. Next, I have Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. Veronica Roth was the author of the Divergent series, which I read back in the day. Hello, Bella. Okay, sit down, sit down. I read back in the day, really enjoyed, so I definitely want to check out her first adult novel. I think this is a standalone. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that it is, though. A standalone adult fantasy about chosen ones. I'm excited. Definitely need to give that a read. Then we have Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I have been wanting to read this. I picked this up in 2018. I remember exactly when I bought it, and I still haven't gotten to it yet, and it doesn't even make sense because I read Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. It's up there. And I fell in love with it and knew I had to read everything by this author, and then never got around to picking this one up. So I need to do that. It's the first book in a trilogy, and all 3 books are out, so I could binge the series if I wanted to. It's time for me to read this. I don't know what has taken me so long. And then the final book on my top backlist books list is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This is one that's been on my radar for years. For years I have been wanting to pick this up and just haven't gotten around to it yet. I don't know why, but it sounds like something I'm absolutely going to love. It's set in New York, and I believe it involves like magical time travel back to the early 1900s and magicians being trapped in New York. I don't know, it sounds really good. I've heard amazing things about this, and I think that the 3rd book recently came out. I think there's going to be 1 more book in the series, so it's almost at an end. It's time to pick up the first book. So those are my top 13 backlist books, but I also have some other books on my backlist that I want to talk about. These are part of a series, and I have been collecting these books for quite some time, and I have not read one of them, but I have a lot of them. Disney Twisted Tales series. These are all the ones that I have on my shelf, and I'm going to like cheat a little bit. It's not really a cheat, but like one of my exceptions for unhauling books by the end of the year was if I start the first book in the series and enjoy it, then I can keep the other ones even if I don't get to them by the end of the year. So I'm gonna count this as a series because, you know, it technically is, even though they're all written by different authors and whatnot. But let me just quickly run through the ones that I have. So I have Part of Your World, which is a Little Mermaid twisted tale. I've got Conceal Don't Feel, which is a Frozen twisted tale. I've got Mirror Mirror, which is a Evil Queen Snow White twisted tale. I've got Unbirthday by Liz Braswell, and this is a Alice in Wonderland twisted tale, which is probably the one I'm most excited for. Straight On Till Morning, which is a Peter Pan twisted tale. And then So This Is Love by Elizabeth Lim, and this is a Cinderella reimagining. So very excited for all of these, and like I said, if I just read one before the end of the year, I'm gonna keep all of them. But I'll probably get to at least a couple of them before the end of the year. Now let's talk about series, which is the next category in my TBR. I am in the middle of a lot of series. I've started a lot of new series in the month of September alone. So I need to catch up. I need to continue. The first one I have here, and probably the first one I'm gonna read because I've already started reading it, is Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the second book in the David trilogy. I loved City of Brass so much, so I need to pick this up and read it before I forget everything that happened in City of Brass. I did start reading this last night, not very far in, I'm only right here, but very excited, liking it so far. I would love to read the third book before the end of the year as well, but I don't know if that'll happen. Then I have Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book to Skyward, which is his young adult sci-fi series. I don't know why it's taken me so long to read this. Like, the third book is coming out, I believe, in November. And I still haven't gotten to the second one yet. So I need to do that while I still have everything fresh in my mind from Skyward. Even though I read it, what, a year ago now? 2 years ago now? But I still remember it, like, vividly. So I should be able to just dive right back into the series. In September, I read The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst, which is the first book in the Queens of Renthia series. So I do have the other two books here. The Reluctant Queen is book 2, and The Queen of Sorrow is book 3. I would like to read these books. They're pretty, the first one was a pretty quick read, so I'm hoping to get through both of these before the end of the year. I really enjoyed the first book. The setting was so cool. So I'm really excited to continue on in the series. And I have both the books, so I should be able to do that. Then, also in September, I read The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite books of the quarter, possibly of the year, and I need to continue on in this series with the next book, which is, I don't know what it is. Is it The Dragon Republic? I think is the second one. So that's the one, I don't have it yet. I need to pick that up, but need to continue on with the series. So I want to at least read the second book. I don't know if I'll get to the third book by the end of the year, but definitely the second book in the series. I also need to get to Redempter, which is the sequel to Raybearer, and I believe this is just a duology. So I'll have another series wrapped up, which is amazing, and that book is already out. I think it came out in August. I never picked up a copy, so I do need to pick up a copy of the second book and read it before the end of the year. I loved this so much. It was 5 stars for me. It was an amazing debut, and I cannot wait to continue on with that one. And now the rest of the books on my list are new releases that are going to be coming out in November or December, and most of these are continuations in series for me, so I should be able to, oh, I forgot one that is already out, and that is the sequel to Lobizona. So I need to read that as well, and it's another duology, I believe. I really enjoyed Lobizona. I think I gave it 4 stars. Okay, now let's get into the newer releases. So first we've got A Psalm of Storms and Silence, which is a sequel to A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. That's coming out on November 2nd, and I'm dying to read it. I loved the first book so much. The characters, especially Malik, he has my heart. I'm hoping to pick it up in the month of November. We'll see how the month goes, but that's one that I'm dying to get to. I have to read before the end of the year. Then we have The Bone Shard Emperor by Andrea Stewart, which is the sequel to The Bone Shard Daughter, which is another one that I absolutely loved. I read it back in March, I believe it was. I'm so excited to have the sequel. I don't know if this is going to be a duology or a trilogy or more than that, but I will be picking up the second book and reading it in November, hopefully. Then we have Leviathan Falls. This is the 9th and final book in the Expanse series. I've been reading the Expanse series for 2 years now, and I've loved them. All of them have been consistently so good. So I'm really excited to see how everything wraps up. I think it's gonna be amazing. I really do. I'm really excited for it. And that comes out November 30th, the end of November. I thought that came out sooner than that. Maybe it got pushed back, I don't know. But it says November 30th on here, so that's what I'm going with. So I'll probably be reading that in like December. And then the final book that I'm gonna mention for this incredibly long end of the year TBR is A History of Wild Places. This is by Shea Earnshaw. This is her first adult novel. So Shea Earnshaw wrote, yeah, they're right here. Shea Earnshaw wrote The Wicked Deep and Winterwood. Both of these I've absolutely loved. I think that her writing is so beautiful, and even though they're definitely not perfect, like I've had issues with both of these. This was a 5-star book for me, Winterwood, and The Wicked Deep is one that I still think about to this day. Just her books are so atmospheric, and I'm really excited to get an adult novel by her. This, I don't even know what this is about, to be honest with you. If it's anything like her first 2 books, it's going to be dark, it's going to be atmospheric, and it's going to be beautiful. So I need to read that one. I don't know, I shouldn't put a new release on here that's not a part of a series, but I need to read it because I'm really excited about it. And that is it, my friends. Those are all of the books that are on my end of year TBR. Will I be able to get to all of these? I don't know, but I really hope that I will, because I don't want to have to unhaul any of these, and all the ones that are coming out I'm just really excited about. So that is going to be it for this video. Do let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts or opinions on the books that I've talked about today. Also, let me know what you are desperate to get to before the end of the year. Let me know what some of your end of year reading plans are like. But yeah, that is going to be it from me today. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!